To get the upper intake out of the way, we're going to have to remove a few things. One of them is the EGR valve. Now you can either remove the EGR valve and let it just kind of hang there, if you unbolt it from the intake, or we can leave the EGR bolted to the intake. If you're like me and you had a Ford Escape with clogged catalytic converters, you might have blown out the aluminum body of your old EGR valve, and you might have had to run to Sears to buy a 27mm combination wrench. So if you're like me and you have that wrench, you can just disconnect this right here and get your wrench in there like that. It's a tight fit, but it'll go. And then alright, so that's out of there. Yeah, might have been easier just to unbolt it. Because to unbolt it, it's just 2 bolts there and there. And with it unbolted, then the EGR valve will just hang off of that metal pipe. You leave that fitting on there and leave your 27mm open end in the toolbox. Alright, so that one was a nut. The other side was a bolt. And that should come loose now. Unless there are 2 nuts on it. Look at that. There are 2 nuts on it. So you take off the first nut and you move that out of the way, and then there's another nut behind it. Well, that one is a little bit too deep to get to, so I need a little bit of an extension there. Didn't need a lot of extension, just a little bit, so this should work just fine. Putting a 3/8 adapter on my 1/4 inch drive deep well. I'm using my 3/8 ratchet instead of 1/4 inch. Should be able to get that loose. So one side was easy, just a bolt, and the other side had a elaborate stud set up with a nut. So you got to pull the nut off, and then you got to pull that stud set up off, and then all this is now loose from the upper intake. Okay, so there's your cruise control, and there's your cruise control cable, and it goes right there, and that just goes like that, and that's easy. And here is your throttle, and I need 2 hands for this one because it's a little puzzle to work that guy out of there. With the throttle, open it wide open. That'll give you slack in the cable, and with that slack in the cable, then you can just slide that right out, and then it slides in the same way. Hold it wide open throttle, slide it in, and once it's in, it's captive. So just like that. that's out. And now all we need to do is remove these brackets there, and I'm guessing that's 8mm, like everything else. Yep. So now I can get these and hang them out of my way. That'll work. Okay. Better. Let's see. What do we have now? That's coming across there. That won't be in the way. That's off right there. EGR valve is okay. We've got some vacuum hoses going in here. 3 of them. Need pliers to loosen up those clamps. Just grab it with the pliers. Like that. And then I just use this. Push like that. Alright. And then the middle one didn't have a clamp on it. And that's off. So there's those 3 removed right there. This comes out like that. And then you got that, which is kind of in the way. It goes down to here. And that pops off real easy. So now we can move this out of the way. And then you got this one attached right there. So now we got all of these that can be moved out of the way. These are looking a little bit more open. Seems like we're just about ready to pop off the bolts to secure the upper intake to the lower intake. 4 there, and then 1 there, and 1 there, and 1 there, and 1 right there. 8 bolts. And then we try to remove it and see what gets hung up. This guy maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We'll leave it there for now until we take those 8 bolts out of there. I'm guessing they're 8mm. Okay, so this is the last one right here. 8 of these. And they're captive, so you can't pull them all the way out. You can get them till, like right in there, that's still threaded in. But right there, see now how I can kind of, that's out of there. It's not threaded in any longer. But you can't pull it all the way out. So you get them all like that, and you pull the whole thing up, and we see what it's still attached to. Yeah, he's somewhere. Oh, he's over there. Over there.
Is he outside?
Yeah, he's outside. He's over there. By the orange car. Alright, so the wire harness right there that's plugged in. Not plugged in, but attached. So that needs to come on out of there. I think a screwdriver or something to poke at it from the inside. There we go. That was just kind of pressed in there. What else? Alright. That guy. That guy that goes right there. He's got a clip on him. How does that clip work? Okay, forget the clip, just do what I did. Pull it off just like that. Little hose that just kind of clamps on here. Kind of a downdraft, it's not hooked up to anything. But right below the throttle body, this guy just kind of clips on so that it points in a downward fashion. And there's that. The other end of it goes who knows where. So we'll just leave that right over here for right now. And maybe that's it. Or maybe not. Alright. 2 electrical connectors. One there and one there. One right above the throttle body and one right to the side of it. So we push on that clip like that and pull that one off. And push on that clip like that to release the other one. There we go. Alright, both of those are off. 2 electrical connectors. And yep. And one more electrical connector. Not plugged into it, but just like this one. There's one right below it that goes in there the same way. So we'll pull that one. There we go. So now you see we got 2 of those guys back there. The little white plastic pieces or what just kind of plug in right there and right there on the back of your intake. And now, how about that? Now it comes off. And then down here, there's rubber seals. 6 rubber seals, and we'll be putting new ones in there before we go back together. Definitely want to replace those. And that's how it looks once removed. So we'll clean that up real good before we put it back on with some brake cleaner or something like that. And the engine now looks like this, which is good because now we have easy access to the fuel rail and the 6 fuel injectors. But what I want to do now is I want to prevent anything from going inside my engine. So I'm going to take these blue shop rags, 6 of them, and I'm going to shove them in each intake port just to keep dirt and nuts and bolts and anything else from dropping down inside there, because I really don't want to drop anything inside that cylinder head and have to remove the cylinder head to get it out. If something did drop down there, you could try a magnet, but if the intake valve's open, it's going to go straight down into your cylinder. Alright, now I feel better. So the new spark plugs are gapped and installed in the far bank, the right bank, numbers 1, 2, and 3. And the harness. Good.